Look at this mess. One remote for the TV, one for Nvidia Shield, and a bunch for other devices too. And somehow, every time I sit down to watch something, I still manage to grab the wrong one first. This is the SofaBaton X2, and the idea here is simple. One remote, everything. No more pile, no more fumbling, just one button press and your whole setup does exactly what it's supposed to do. I've been testing it for a little while now, so let me show you what it can actually do. The X2 is a smart universal remote system, and the key word there is system. So it's not just a remote, it's a hub-based setup that replaces multiple remotes by talking to all of your devices from one central point. Now, if you've ever used a Logitech Harmony, then this is the spiritual successor to that. Logitech killed that range off a few years back and left a big gap in the market. The SofaBaton X2 is squarely aimed at filling it. In the box, you get the remote itself, the hub, a magnetic charging dock, 2 power adapters, some USB-C cables, and 2 IR blaster cables for routing signal into cabinets or awkward spaces. And available separately is the IR repeater R1. That's a separate accessory designed to extend the hub's reach to other rooms or inside enclosed cabinets, so more on that in a minute. First impressions, this thing feels premium. The body is zinc alloy with a sandblasted finish. It is solid, fingerprint resistant, and it does not feel like a £20 remote that you might find on Amazon. On the front, you've got a 2.4-inch colour touchscreen on the top, a full set of backlit physical buttons underneath, and haptic feedback when you swipe between activities. It's small detail, but it does make the whole thing feel polished. The charging dock is magnetic. You just drop the remote into it and it clicks into place. Battery life is around 30 days per charge, and it takes about 3 hours to fill back up when charging. It feels like something you would be happy to leave on a coffee table, which, when you're spending this kind of money, matters. Okay, so setup is done through the SofaBaton app. You download it onto your phone, plug in the hub, and connect it to your home Wi-Fi. One thing to note, the hub will only work on 2.4 GHz bands, not 5 GHz, so just worth knowing that before you get started. Adding devices is where you'll spend most of your setup time. The app does give you 4 options: infrared, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and RF. For my Samsung QADD TV, I went with IR, and that's because Samsung TVs don't appear in the Bluetooth list in the app, so IR is just the way to go here. The code library picks it up straight away though. For the PS5, I use Bluetooth, but there is a quirk here. You do need to select PlayStation 4 in the app, not PS5. The PS5 entry just wouldn't pair. Once you've connected, media controls work fine, but just so you know up front, you can't power the PS5 on or off from rest mode via Bluetooth. Sony does just block third-party remotes from doing that. It's not a SofaBaton issue, it affects everything, but it is worth knowing. Wi-Fi control is supported, but it is currently limited to Roku, Sonos and Philips Hue. If you've got other smart devices on Wi-Fi, you'll need to use the IR, Bluetooth, or route them through Home Assistant instead. But if you can't connect your devices via one method, you should be able to connect them via one of the others. Heck, using the custom infrared mode, I was able to set up my Drio fan, so it's nice to have that in the system and it works flawlessly. Okay, this is the bit that does make the X2 worth having. Activities are one-press sequences that fire a chain of commands across multiple devices at once. You build them in the app, you pick your devices, set the startup sequence, configure the input sources, and then give it a name. So I built a Cool Movies activity. One press, my TV and the Nvidia Shield turn on at the same time, along with my fan since it is summer at the moment. All the devices wake up, the TV switches to the right HDMI input, everything is ready in about 10 seconds. That's it, that's the whole point of this remote, that one button. And you can also set up voice control through Google Assistant or Alexa. Hey Google, turn on Cool Movies.
Okay, turning the Cool Movies on.
Once you've linked your account, the syntax is just, hey Google, turn on Cool Movies, or hey Google, turn off Cool Movies. The activity name does need to match what you called it in the app. It works well. The one limitation is that voice control only triggers full activities, not individual device commands. So if you just want to control a single device by voice, just set it up as its own activity. Now the hub's IR emitters are multi-directional and have a solid range. But what if your kit is hidden in a cabinet or maybe in a different room altogether? Well, that's what the R1 is for. So it plugs into the hub and extends the IR signal whenever you run the blaster cable. I routed a cable inside my own AV cabinet with the emitter head sitting right in front of the receiver, closed the cabinet doors and the remote still works perfectly. No line of sight is needed to that. It is a simple bit of kit, but it does solve a real problem. If you've got everything behind closed doors, the R1 makes the whole system work properly. If you're into home automation, the X2 goes further than most remotes. It has full Home Assistant integration via MQTT. You can use the X2 button presses to trigger HA automations, and HA can fire commands back to the hub. So you could have a single button on your remote that turns off all of your lights and starts your movie. It also works with Alexa and Google Assistant, as I mentioned, and Matter support has arrived via a firmware update. In terms of device compatibility, the headline figure is 6,000 brands and 500,000 devices. That does cover IR and Bluetooth. The X2 can manage up to 50 devices simultaneously across IR, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi and RF. Okay though, so how does it actually hold up day to day? Pretty well, I've got to say. The IR response is fast and reliable, Bluetooth is solid, I haven't had missed commands. The setup does take a little bit of time, and it was a little bit finicky at times until I'd updated the firmware. Getting your devices added, configuring power on, off behaviour for each one, sorting input sources, you're probably looking at about 30 to 45 minutes before everything is exactly how you want it. But of course that's a one-time investment. Once it's done, it's done. The touchscreen is responsive and bright enough to use without the backlighting in a dark room. The physical buttons have a good feel to them, and I've genuinely stopped reaching for the pile of remotes. After 2 weeks, this has become the default. The main limitations I'd call out, honestly, are the PS5 power issue, but not really SofaBaton's fault there, the narrow Wi-Fi device support, and the fact that voice control is activity level only. None of those are deal breakers, but I'd say they're worth knowing before you buy, just to temper some expectations. The SofaBaton X2 is certainly not a budget remote. It is a premium product at a premium price. But if you've got a complex setup, multiple devices, a mix of old and new kit, cabinets full of gear, this is one of the best solutions available right now. There genuinely isn't much competition at this level since Harmony left the market. It's well built, the activity system works well, and the Home Assistant integration is useful. And the R1 repeater solves those cabinet problems cleanly. If you're a casual user with one TV and maybe a soundbar, it's probably more remote than you would need. But if your coffee table currently looks like mine did at the start of the video, it's absolutely worth considering. Links to the official store and Amazon are going to be in the description, so feel free to check those out. Of course, if you've got any questions about setup or compatibility, drop those down in the comments. I'll do my best to answer. And if this video has helped, a like and subscribe always mean a lot. So, thanks for watching.